Good evening. It's 7 o'clock on a Monday evening, and I'm here for mental mind treatments. So, welcome, Kayla, who I know is online, and so is another one as well. But I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what I'm experimenting. I've taken and had my computer redone, and apparently one of the things that was wrong with my own whatever that is, the main disk, was that it was operating slow. So some of the freezing could have come from there. Another thing I found was on Sunday morning. I've usually gone in and sort of announced that I'm coming. But what I found was when I went to start, it said not live streaming. So I didn't do that tonight. So we're going to see how that goes. And I want to thank Kayla, who's already posted. So she obviously found me before I was live on air. So she asked for blessings and love to all. So everybody, special prayers and loves to myself, which is always nice. I can share some more things about today too. Please treat for the release of tension and pain, especially in the head and neck and the right hip and knee. Well, Kayla doesn't usually put numbers in, so I picked them myself. And I got an interesting selection that came to me, actually, in some ways, not totally. One of the symbols doesn't usually come up very often. I got, if you know the tarot, 17 is the star, 5 is the Hierophant, and 9 is the Hermit. Now, both the 5 and the 9 talk about spiritual teachers. Or you could say knowledge that is there through spiritual learning and understanding. And because I know Kayla from some of my spiritual journey, is that I found that interesting. And nothing's worse than having pain, because I've gone through a lot of that too with myself in life. And physical pain, you've got, there's emotional pain, spiritual pain, and there's physical pain. Physical pain is the hardest sometimes. I want to talk about the 3 numbers that I put out, and then we'll do the treatment on that. 17 is really about balancing energy, how much you're putting out, how much you're keeping for yourself, and that the importance of keeping things for yourself. If you see my hand go crazy, I've got a fly all of a sudden flying. Summer is here, and I just don't like flies flying around me all the time. So anyway, it's going to really annoy me, I think. But we shall just treat that it's going to go away. There's several of them in here. I thought I had cleared them all out. Because I love this, when it's sunshiny, I love the light coming in, the sun. And I was just sitting out in a bit today too. Anyway, 17 is about balancing. But 5 and 9 is about knowledge. 5 is about getting the knowledge from the expert. Well, when it comes to the treatment or prayers, the alternative prayers of the expert. Number 9 is more about internal, understanding the internal process. So we've got 2 major spiritual numbers. They're all spiritual, actually, but it's like 17 is about energy. What you already know, how much of it you're putting out. And when you overdo it, that's not good. But I was intrigued by the 5 because it's not a number we get a lot of. So let me do a treatment. Oh, I know we're looking at the head, neck, right hip, and knee. I know there is one power and there is one essence. And I know as I speak my word for Kayla, that the love energy, the divine energy, the energy that Kayla is connected to is there. And at this moment, as I tune into it, it's like it's there, but it's not working. It's not being invited right into the cellular level. It's like having the cellular level embrace the light so that the pain can move through, out, and away. Sometimes when we have pain, and I'm saying this is true for Kayla, but sometimes what I found is that we kind of hold on. We're so busy wanting it to leave or go that we don't assimilate it. We don't kind of become at one with it. So what's really important here is that, as I said, the knowledge of it, The Hierophant is always about learning and listening with the knowledge. The Hermit says the answer lies within inside yourself. But the Star is the key. How much energy? I really feel, in particular, the right hip and knee need light. They need to know. It's like writing it a note and saying, you're connected. It's all okay. And we know that we're looking at a knee surgery, but you need the knee to know it's all okay. That's why it's coming up into the hip. And so that will make a very big, big difference. So within the knowingness of this one power in one essence, I know that as Kayla begins to talk to that hip and knee and gets the energy flowing between the two, which also can go down into the ankle and the foot, but there is a sense of balance, awareness, and the ability to talk to yourself and know that it's real and it is whole. I give thanks in the knowing of this as I release this thought by saying, and so it is. I also am going to do my treatment from mango, which I usually do. I really felt there's a switch happening in the energy, which has been confirmed by the person that has requested these. But it shows here too, also with the numbers I got, which 16, 12, and 3. 16 is always something coming from the outside that upsets us or disables us, gets us all kind of caught up. And I really feel that I made a note and I said, the need is to trust the self and take the bumps, which life sometimes delivers, and remember that you're loved. So what's important for mango right now, sometimes when we start getting better, we think it's just going to be a walk in the park. But then something occurs and something happens. And then we feel, oh my goodness, we're way back to square one or beyond. And the reality is that here is not true. It's about acceptance of where you are and where you want to be. If you love yourself, if you understand that, you can accept the reversals that happen from time to time. So in knowing that, I just say, I know the one power is there for mango at all times. So the key is to remember that you are loved beyond measure, no matter what is occurring, what is happening, and that knowing that within you brings you power, brings you essence, and brings the lovingness of who you are. And I give thanks for that as I release that, knowing that it is true with love and light. And so I say thank you, thank you, thank you to that wonderful energy that's there. Okay, Karen Lee. Let's see what we get here. I hope your day has been nice. I had to have a CAT scan today. So part of mine was in the hospital, but it went really easy and went well, which was nice. But they're still doing the follow-up on all my treatments, right? Karen Lee. I hope you're well. I am actually, and it's interesting I got that now out of the way. I would love a treatment of whatever comes to you, please. And the numbers are 12, 15, and 22. So here's the 12, which is the hangman, acceptance. 15 is the devil, emotional, out of control. 22 is the world balance. So what do we got here? We've got the acceptance of the emotion. Now, very often when we learn and we're involved in spiritual matters or metaphysical matters, we think that emotion is bad. And the reality is it isn't. It's natural and normal. It is this. Now, this is what I say. I say this is an emotional planet. I say that the earth itself is emotional. It feels. And my experience has been that. So when we begin to judge our emotional responses, what's happened is we go into the emotion rather than staying in clarity. So the key, first of all, is whatever the situation is that's creating the emotional upheaval needs to be accepted. This is what's happening now. And then, rather than getting all twisted and out of shape about it emotionally, 22. That's the fool. We have faith. We know what we want. What's the end result we want? When we get all upset, we forget very often. We start not seeing what's ahead, and we forget to think of what the outcome is we want. You're the power. You're the one that's asking the power to create this or that or the other. When we're in 15, though, it's the emotion, and we're not accepting the emotion, or we're not seeing it clearly, and we're not staying with our vision of what we really, really want. So what we're saying is you accept your emotions, but you work with your mind, the mental part of you, to see the result that you want. So there's an acceptance of feelings, which is number 12, very important. And it's the acceptance of that at the same time being able to have faith that, okay, this is this moment of time here, this little moment, but that is where we're heading, whatever that is. Now, the treatment. I know there is one power, one love, and one essence. And I speak my word for Karen Lee. And in speaking my word for Karen Lee, I know it is through the acceptance of what the feelings are instead of rejecting them, but accepting them, and then letting go because you have faith in the end result, even though it may not look like it. That's how we have life work the way we want, is because we have faith that our energy will go in, and emotion is the energy. But very often when we get emotional, what happens is we're reacting to everything. And when we're reacting to everything, all the universe is hearing, oh, this is what I want. I want the turmoil. I want this and I want that. But that's actually not what you want. What you want is balance and clarity of the end result you want. And sometimes when you're very emotional, you lose sight of what the end result is. What are you really asking for? More disturbance, more hurt, more pain happens. So I know that the power of Karen Lee is so strong that at this moment, she just needs to accept her power, and that she has a mind, that she has an understanding, one, that she can accept her feelings as real and not be governed by them. And the second and most important is that she has faith in what it is she really, truly wants, even though it looks like it's not possible. That's how miracles are created. That's when things come together that is so big and so large and so phenomenal. I give thanks in knowing that Karen, when she sees her power of creating, nothing is going to stop her. Nothing's going to be wherever or whatever. It's going to be great. So I give thanks for that. And so it is. Amen. Karen M. Okay, Miss Karen. 8, 6, and 10. Oh, these are unusual ones for you. 8 is strength, 6 is the lover's confusion, and 10 is the wheel of fortune. Not unsimilar to Karen Lee's, actually. Not unsimilar. How I drew the 8, I always find really important. You've got a very heavy top and a very little bottom. So the balance of the 8, bringing the strength down, is like you have all this philosophy, theory, awareness, knowingness, but it's not coming into the physical. And that's why it gets confusing. That's why things are not happening maybe the way you would like them to do. It's because your awareness isn't being brought down. So, number 10, the wheel of fortune, you need to become like the hub of the wheel. This is me. And then the energy is balanced out, not imbalanced, which it is now, so that you can begin to create what it is particularly that you are wanting. So therefore, my dear, it's just a little tweaking. It may not feel like little, but it's tweaking. It's remembering that your knowledge, your awareness, your spiritual connection must be balanced into the world. It can't be just up here because you have all this knowledge. It's got to come down and be utilized, because otherwise what's happening, you're just getting more and more and more confused, more and more unsure. Got to become like that hub of the wheel and be able to balance all that wonderful knowledge and understanding and bring that out. So I know for Karen, she understands and knows the one power and the one essence. She understands that she's connected. I therefore speak my word in knowing she also knows that that could come in and be balanced to be able to correct the situations that don't flow as well as you'd like. That the center of your being is strong and can project the energy balanced wise into the world, into what we call life. It is an ease, it's a life, it's an easiness. I give thanks in knowing that Karen's up to her, really, because it will be and can be very, very, very easily well done. I give thanks for this by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Lomas 07. Okay, and thank you for your email. I just read it just before here because I didn't have my computer on hold today. Hello, Norma. Hope you're doing great. Yes, I am doing as well as I possibly can. Hope you found a solution to your laptop. Oh, well, I have. I found one, I think. I found one. And so far, everything's going smoothly. The table's being rocked from time to time because I do get excited. And so we just keep on and just see how everything works out, which is great. Thank you for your help, though. I'm copying that email if I need any more info. How many flies have I got around here? Boy, they're being attracted. I didn't make sure they were all gone. Okay, hang on a minute. So Karen B is next. Thanks for your message too. Good evening, Norma. Blessings and love to everyone. May I please have a treatment for general health? So it's a health one. What do we got? 5, 20, and 22. So we got the Hierophant, 20, and then 22. Okay, because that's acceptance. And 22 is faith again. Lots of faith. Often faith comes up when people have a philosophy. We don't realize sometimes where we have it, we have all the knowledge and the awareness, but we don't apply it in a way that's effective. So this is about health. There's something about you haven't got all the information here. Because it's the Hierophant, I think it is. It's what came anyway, 5. Because 6 is the lovers, yeah. And the Hierophant teaches us about the lovers. So there's more knowledge you need here. If you've got a health issue, you're not going to the right people or seeing the correct problem things, because there's a need of acceptance of what is so that you can have faith to move forward. So I don't like saying that people that you're talking to or seeing, but you might need another opinion. There's something with that Hierophant is always, or there may be a spiritual answer to it. And that is acceptance of what it is and balancing it, having balance with faith and awareness and knowingness. To be very honest, I'm not getting any hit on what it is at all. So I probably need to know more about that. But to me right now, when I look at this, I want to go to the 20 and 22, which is we got the world, but we've also got the acceptance card. So important to accept things as they are. It's almost like if we have a sore on our finger, we have to address the sore before it can go away, or it's going to get worse. So sometimes we'll ignore things because we can't see how it applies, or we want it to apply differently. So whatever this is, Karen B, I'm a little worried about it, to be honest, because it's like we're not accepting what's really going on. We just want a little miracle, which may or may not be there. Anyway, I'm going to give the treatment this way. I know there is one power in one essence, and I know that Karen is aware of the beautiful energy that is there, but also the information that comes from in many different ways, from people around us, from conversations, that all of a sudden the answer is there. And it is the acceptance. Maybe that's something that is outside the norm, that we can then bring faith and balance as we move ahead. Something has to be changed. Something has to be different here to get the result that you're wanting. I give love and understanding as I release this thought, knowing that it is done and that you have somebody somewhere has that information for you. Listen. I find sometimes just by listening to people, even other people's conversations, you find that the answer comes in very, very, very clearly. I give thanks and send love. Okay, now Metho 7 again. Need a powerful treatment for your eyes. 7 eyes again. Sent you a long email the other day. Hope that made sense. Okay, 8 strength. 9 is here. It is yeah, and 11. 11 is probably it. It's a decision you need to make. Let's have a look here. Do you know when you watch? I don't know if your TV's there, do anything, but you know, sometimes when you're watching TV, I haven't had it happen for a long time, but it's like the lines get squirrely. In the old days when we had like the ears and things like that, we don't really get it so much now with how it's all linked in. But I kind of feeling that what's happening here around your eyes is that you're not getting the message clearly. That, and we've talked about this, is that it's going through this filter of expectation. Somewhere you're going to need strength and power to look at reality as it is, so that you can make the decisions within yourself to what it is that you want to do with the reality